says, Shimmy says, Shimmy, Shimmy, Shimmy says, ask me almost anything.
Hey everyone, it's Shimmy and welcome to this week's Shimmy Says. You know, this is a good one. I want you to pay attention if you can. I call it Why We Can't Have Nice Things Because the Algorithms Won't Let Us. That's why. Look, I don't care how smart you are, whether you consider yourself woke adjacent, anti-woke, or whatever you want to call yourself. Something is fundamentally wrong in our digital world. Stuff's gone off the rails. Now, I'm not talking about your aunt posting her QAnon memes again. I'm talking about the underlying guts, the systems that really are deciding what we see, who we hear it from, and it leads to what we believe. You know, we used to live in a world where influence meant you said something that was really smart, compelling, valuable. People listened because they believed it, they trusted it. Today, we don't have that. Today, influence means you figured out how to game the algorithm. There's that word, algorithm. Who controls the algorithm? Some shadowy group of tech pros out in Silicon Valley? Maybe. The government? Maybe. Other governments? Maybe. Who? El Chapo? Who the hell knows? We don't know. But what we do know is that the algorithms are controlling what we see, what we feel, and ultimately what we believe. And if you could hack the feed, if you could game the algorithm, if you get bots to clap for you on command, you get machines to elevate you above actual humans, you become viral. Guys, that's influence today, but it's not. It's digital puppetry. I call this the dictatorship of the algorithm. That's the era we live in. As an example of this, I wanted to bring up a recent two stories on Politico about how automated bots evidently boosted Nicki Minaj's political posts on social media. They estimate about 18 or 19,000 bots working in concert were enough to make her go viral and then have this whole kind of media machine pick it up. And these were done by bots, not because humans were ignited by her message or got excited, not because a groundswell of everyday people suddenly changed their minds. No, it was bots. And they played the algorithms, and the algorithmic systems elevated her content into visibility, and it went viral and it took off. That right there is the modern definition of influence. Not mass thought, not even mass debate or merit. It's all about bots and algorithms. I don't know about you, but it terrifies the heck out of me. These algorithms are turning us into sheep and lemmings. This story isn't about Nicki Minaj's celebrity. It's not about partisanship or politics even. It's about mechanics, systems, incentives, the architecture of influence, if you will. This stuff really doesn't respect left or right, Republicans or Democrat. None of them own it. The algorithms almost exist independently of it. It respects only what gets engagement, and then it rigs the game around that engagement. This is the structural mechanics of the digital world we now live in, and in many ways, that's controlling us. Now, you might think bots are just spammy accounts or fake profiles that occasionally post nonsense. But you know what? That's not what the research shows. The research shows that bots are everywhere in the social landscape, and they're not random noise. You know, Elon Musk was moaning and groaning about bots before he took over Twitter. It's only gotten worse. In multiple studies, bots have been shown to shape political conversations, guide what's trending, and actually alter what human users see and engage with. In Brazil's election cycles, for instance, bot networks were found to push narrow agenda points that didn't really reflect the messy variety of the reality of public opinion there. In Canada, Bot posts skewed what topics showed up in the political feeds that people were seeing. Guys, this is no longer marginal. It's highly impactful, and it's happening now to us, to you, to everyone. Some researchers are even warning that the autonomous AI bots swarm coordinated networks of intelligent accounts. They're being used to manipulate public opinion at a scale we've not seen before, and it's only growing for future elections. Guys, this isn't some dystopian hypothesis I'm throwing out at you. It's a plan that's already underway and is being used against us. And I'm not making this up. I'm getting it from a whole bunch of sources, The Guardian and a bunch of different sources here. So what is this telling us? It's telling us that influence is no longer about ideas. It's about who can game the system best, who plays the algorithms. You know, a few years ago, if you had something worth saying, you said it. And people either listened or they didn't. It was human judgment. Was it common sense? But now your idea has to survive a triage by the algorithms, by software, to decide whether or not you're going to maximize your engagement. I don't care if you're talking about Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or any of them. It's all the same. Engagement, and therefore influence and importance, is measured by clicks and conversions and spikes in traction, algorithmic recommendation scores, trending metrics. It has nothing to do with truth, nothing to do with substance, nothing to do with nuance. What gets rewarded today is loudness, outrage, polarizing takes, salacious headlines, content engineered to trigger, shock, or bait for attention. Nothing to do, as I say, with wisdom, nothing to do with reasoned debate, nothing to do with depth. We don't have any depth. Let me say it again for you, though. Engagement is not the same thing as value. Algorithm doesn't care about truth. It cares about engagement. So, while we're outsourcing our collective attention to software that doesn't care about us, let that sink in, only about what keeps eyeballs locked on signals that can be monetized, let's really look at what it does to our society. If everyone is shouting for clicks and the algorithm rewards the loudest voices, then what gets the most oxygen? Figure it out. It's not insight, it's not common ground, it's not empathy. No, the algorithm promotes chaos, conflict, amplifying division. This isn't accidental. It's structural to the algorithms. You've seen it. Even if you don't know why it feels this way, you feel like we're just not together. Everybody's in their own corners. You scroll, you react, you feel like you're choosing, but you're not. You're being played. The truth is the system is optimizing what you see, selecting, prioritizing, distorting it. This isn't about freedom in speech or free conversations. It's not democratic discourse and everyone has an opinion. It's algorithmic steering. It's the algorithm steering us like we're lemming and sheep. And the point that most people are missing is this isn't about just politics. Yeah, it's in the political story I spoke about with Nicki Minaj today, and it links to right-wing messaging. But you want to know the truth, bots don't give a shit about right-wing, left-wing, or what your ideology is. They only care about manipulating the algorithm to manipulate you. They are tools. They're getting tools that are getting picked up by every side to manipulate you. Corporations are using them to push products. Political campaigns are using them to gain their reach. Interest groups are using them to amplify outrage. Foreign actors are using them to sow discord. This isn't left or right, it's mechanics. But we don't even know who sits behind them. We know who's using them. We don't know who sits behind them. So when we talk about something like I spoke about last week, the enshittification of the internet, as Cory Doctorow puts it, we're talking about this degradation of the structure of the internet, of the digital landscape. The internet was a tool originally for connection and discovery, But now it's optimized, as Tim Wu says, for extraction of attention, of emotions, of belief systems. As I said, you heard me talk about this before. I spoke about it last week a bit. The extraction of our data, our privacy, and yes, our beliefs. Tim Wu's point about how digital architectures are warping social norms and expectation. It used to be we had humans deciding what to share or buy or think, and it was based on their own judgment. But now that system is shaped by software whose only really interest is keeping us in the loop, keeping us doom scrolling, keeping us clicking. And that just doesn't distort discourse, guys. It warps. It literally warps reality. When bots and algorithms flood a conversation and make something seem like a consensus, people assume it's representative. We haven't learned better. They think, look at all these shares, look at all these likes. People must believe this. It must be true. But those signals can be manufactured, they could be engineered, and that engineering has consequences. And the insidious part is then we start thinking everything's engineered and we don't know what's truth and what's not truth. This is what happens when public policy debates are decided not by deliberation or reasoned argument, not even by voters weighing options, but by what software decided what was trending. And as much as we may try to kick that trend and go with the anti-trend, we're just playing back into the algorithm. Guys, this isn't democracy. This isn't free rule. This is a digital mob being ruled by design, by optimization. We are living in an era where a handful of proprietary algorithms have more influence on public thought and public perceptions than any editorial board in history ever did. It's astonishing and it's also frightening. Now, I know, I hear some people say, but this is just the price we pay for having this great technology. We can't expect perfection. Come on, guys, that's weak. It's weak sauce. We should expect better. We have to demand better because influence should come from humans, not machines. This isn't some Running Man movie or something. Our beliefs and opinions should be shaped by reason, by evidence, by real conversation, by facts, not just opinion, not by code that only cares about how much time we spend on a page. Let me talk about finding bots, detecting bots, because that's an important first step. Companies like Cybra, the company involved in that Nicki Minaj case, and others like them, they're doing God's work here. It's really valuable identifying these bot networks. We so need this visibility. But detection alone won't solve the root of the problem. Because again, I'm going to come back to it. The real issue is the algorithms that prioritize what you see must be redesigned to serve human interest, not to manipulate us, not just engagement metrics. We need in our algorithms and bots transparency in how these feeds are coming onto our screens, accountability by the people who run these platforms that allow this manipulation to go on, regulation that treats these symptoms as the infrastructure utilities that they are, standards that define what's acceptable algorithmic behavior and what looks like in a democratic society. But to make all this happen, that means we need political will. That means pushing back against companies that profit from this engagement in the algorithm arms race. That means citizens speaking up and saying, we want platforms that reflect us, not the machines that manipulate us. Most politicians, brand influencers, they're comfortable playing the algorithm game. I said it. They're gaming it themselves. They love the reach. They love the impression counts. They love the influence. They love the click metrics. They love the manufactured consensus. Again, the Minaj case is a perfect example. The company that did the research said there's like an 85% chance that these 18 or 19,000 bots drove the algorithms to elevate her profile into the stratosphere. To show how politicized and crazy this stuff is, shortly after the article published, a fight broke out online. with no less than the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations weighing in to defend Minaj and the validity of her influencer status and why people love her on social media. You could ask yourself, I did, what the hell is the ambassador from the United States to the United Nations doing being involved in this? But that's the reach and power of the algorithms. They control everything. They're pulling the levers. You know, on this point, my Techstrong gang, or not my Techstrong gang, my Techstrong AV team worked up another little AI synthetic music video about the whole Minaj affair. This one, in homage to Nicki Minaj, is a rap video, but explains the gaming of the algorithms. I hope you enjoy it. We're going to play it at the end of this episode. But if you think that these algorithms are good for society, you're kidding yourself, man. Because when machine optimization becomes the arbiter of truth, the result is an environment where opinion is cheap, outrage is currency, and nuance is extinct. Guys, this is not a tech problem. This is a civilization problem. You want to know why you can't have nice things? Why the internet is the enshittification of the internet? Because the machines are winning, they're running the show, and we're letting them. Here's the bottom line. If you want a world where humans influence ideas, policies, and power, then we have to wrest control back from the systems and algorithms that have hijacked it. We have to insist on transparency. We have to demand accountability. We have to build systems that reward truth, not noise. Because until we do that, we're living in a world where influence is not democratic, it's not fair, it's algorithmic. And that, my friends, is not how human society was meant to be. We deserve better. I'm Shimmy. See you next time.
Pink wig, prime time, headline blaze. From billboard charts to political waves. Now they talking numbers, say my mentions ain't pure. Saya but got a spreadsheet, political, sure. 18,000 shadows in the comment parade. Profile pics blink, but the praise gets sprayed. Amplify the message, boost it up on cue. When the data lights flash, everybody got a view. Timeline lit, controversy hot. Is it real Barb's love or an army of bots? Barbs and bots scrolling all night long, pushing every post till the metrics look strong. They play the algorithms like a fool on a string, turn the code into a crown, make the numbers all sing. Barbs and bots, yeah, the engine don't stop. And the ave of attention, it's a race to the top. Right wing will rally cry, that story's a lie. Call the research bias, let the outrage fly. Say it's just supporters, not some phantom brigade. But half those handles were born yesterday. December spike, engagement went wild. Same phrasing, copy pasted, profile mild. When politics meets fandom in the digital duel, box flip the switch and school the algorithm like a fool. Well, welcome to the matrix where perception is king. If you trend for an hour, you can swing anything. Organic, paid, or artificially grown. Doesn't matter if the narrative's blown. Marching back, scrolling all night long. Data in the dry to see rhythm in the wrong. They play the algorithms like a fool every day. Gamify the outrage, let the echo chamber sway. Marching back, watch the metrics pop, potting the war for the timeline. Nobody logs off. Rap star, data chart, politics collide. Youth gets filtered by the trending tide. Dots are believers, draw your own rule. But somebody out here playing that algorithm like a fool.